Well, it's a Sunday, everyone. Welcome to This Week in Geek, a special edition, not only because we're back, we didn't have a show last week, but now we do. We're having a show on Sunday because my co-host next to me, who I will introduce in just a bit, had important commitments that he needed to attend to fulfill his obligations to the weekly ranking this week. But of
That is very
course,
true.
the thing we must talk about is that we're keeping the internet held together because clearly we take a week off and everything just falls apart. Everyone just forgets how to properly function without you and I, Zach. And of course, I'm talking to my co-host, Zach Pope. How are you doing today, Zach?
Man, what the fuck happened this week?
A lot.
Yeah,
happened.
I mean, no, really, what the fuck happened this week, man? Like, holy shit. So this was a week. Yeah,
This was
very
this was a week.
eventful.
The Oscars, Morbius, Moon Knight, and completely unrelated unless someone asks me about it, WrestleMania is happening this weekend. So it's been since last Sunday. It has been quite the event after event after event, and not all of it good, some of it good, and we'll talk about it shortly. But of course, we want to thank you all who are watching us right now live on YouTube, or if you're listening to us when this drops on Spotify. You want to do the Spotify stick? You do it. I always do it. You do it this week.
Or listening on Spotify. In the works on getting us on Google Podcasts and iTunes. For some reason, they don't want to approve us. Maybe it's because we're too cute. I don't know. But anyways, you guys can also rate us over there. It does help.
Yes.
Especially because you hear our sexy voices wherever you go, especially in your car, in the shower.
Ooh, that's one I haven't told people that they could listen to us in the shower. But if you're listening to us in the shower, good for you.
That's when I listen to podcasts, is when I'm taking a nice shower.
Well, I'm taking a nice something, but not shower.
Okay.
That's when I listened. But anyway, that's not here nor there. Of course, as you guys know, if you're familiar with us, we always start by doing our weekly ranking. That's when we pick up everything that we watched this past week, movie or show, and we rank them. And of course, that usually generates some kind of discussion, particularly when we watch different things, when embargoes are upheld. And this week was Moon Knight. If you guys watch both of our channels, which we hope you do, if you don't, please consider subscribe to both. We were able to finally put out our spoiler-free thoughts on episodes 1 through 4. Those videos are right now up on the channel. This weekly ranking will not feature, obviously, rankings for episode 2, 3, and 4 of Moon Knight. We'll just rank the one episode that came out this week, which we also reviewed with spoilers, episode 1. So we will only include that one episode on our weekly ranking. So without any further ado, I will start us off. I had quite an eventful week. I watched quite a few things this week. One of them I watched last week, but it came out this week. I was able to finally put a review out this week when the embargo lifted on the same day of release, and that is Morbius. The first hour of the show, we're going to dive into Morbius a lot deeper, but it's not without good qualities. It's not without good elements, but it's 2 out of every 10 things in Morbius are good. And that's not a nice average to have. So I'll just leave it at that for now. Up next is The Contractor. The Contractor is a film starring Chris Pine and Ben Foster, which if you've seen Hell or High Water, you should get pretty excited just by reading that cast list. And then it's very Taylor Sheridan light, and it feels like it's missing an entire act. Like the beats of a third act are there, but structurally it just runs over what a third act should be. So it's a really weird movie that stretches out its setup, even though it's so conventional, it's so generic, it's so been there, done that. And yet the most baffling thing about it is how it misses on what usually is the best part of these films. Because if it was predictable, if it was generic, but it had some nice sense of payoff, I would have put it quite a few notches above. But as it is, sadly didn't care too much about it. Over that, I'm going to have the HBO Max movie Moonshot, starring Lana Condor and one of the Sprouses, one of either Zach or Cody. I never know which is which.
It's Cody.
Not this Zach, by the way, not the Zach standing next to me, the other Zach. Enjoyable. It's perfectly fine. As soon as you read the synopsis, you're like, oh, I bet I know how this is going to end. And yes, you do. But there's enough good sci-fi and coming-of-age elements that trump over the generic, mundane, again, been there, done that elements of a rom-com that I didn't care too much about. There are no good rom-coms so far this year, I feel. Over that, I'm going to have what everyone else seems to hate, and that is Netflix's The Bubble. I enjoyed I enjoy the first hour of this, Zach, quite a bit. I laughed quite a bit in this first hour, sometimes out loud, but it works much better as a series of sketches, not so much a proper movie. You know, a lot of times in Judd Apatow movies, you can feel the runtime because they usually stretch beyond the 2 hours. This one, I mean, technically it does for 6 minutes, but you start to feel that runtime from the first hour. Like as soon as the film hits an hour, you're like, oh, okay, this should be almost over. No, you got an hour left of the film. And so that second hour really drags. But the film has so many seemingly random cameos, it's kind of awesome in that sense. You're like, oh, this person, okay, didn't expect that. All right. So it's entertaining in that sense. Over that,
but is it funny? But is it funny?
Yes, the first hour at least. And there are moments in the second hour, I'm sure, where I laughed. But the first hour, quite funny. Really quite funny. And it's a great idea, too, of going back to the early days of the pandemic and what was it like to shoot a movie in those early days. And poke fun at these actors that have to quarantine alone, and then they're slowly losing their minds, and you explore their egos and their insecurities and how their real lives interfere with their professional. It's really fun. The idea is very creative, I felt. Over that, the other Netflix original film that came out this week, and that is Apollo 10.5. And then it has a subtitle that I don't remember, that it has something childhood. Richard Linklater's new movie. There's a real beauty to this film that I cannot help but admire, but there are no stakes in this. It almost feels like a fictionalized documentary, but in animation. And I haven't seen Flea, so I'm not going to be here and comparing two animated documentaries because this isn't a documentary. It's very much a fictional character, but it's talking about those experiences of growing up in the United States through Vietnam, being exposed to the space race, and watching how that influences a middle-class family and this boy taking it all in, his family life, his school life, and then having his imagination take off by being influenced by those events that he constantly sees on TV. And so it's very beautiful to watch. It's very well made. You can feel the passion behind it. But to me, there just was no stakes because it's constantly this guy narrating what happened. And it feels very much like a recounting of events. But there's nothing like majorly set up. There's not these huge arcs. And so I couldn't emotionally invest in anything. All right. Over that, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I bet you didn't expect to see that one since I didn't care too much for the first one. But by now, I've watched this 2 times, and it's so much freaking fun. Whenever it's being a Sonic movie proper, it's awesome. It's exactly what I want if you tell me there's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. But then it still has the kiddie, cringy family element to it that the filmmakers clearly did not care about. And so I couldn't care about this. So that takes it down quite a few notches. And in first place, episode 1 of Moon Knight. I'm still not sure if it's the best MCU show premiere, but it's up there. It's got to be top 3, if not either 1 or 2. And this show has got so much more to offer. I hope you guys checked out a review. If you haven't, please go support it. It really needs the help so I can cover more of these shows early. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I can't say too much because I love this episode, but I have no context of watching this episode by itself. Because the 2 times I've watched it, well, now 3 times, but one of them was after putting the review out, after recording it. But the 2 times I watched it, I already had access to the other episodes. So the first time I watched it on a big screen was episode 1, followed by episode 2. And then I watched it on my computer, on my laptop, and I already had 2, 3, and 4 to watch. So this episode really is a nice, engaging, mysterious start to this incredibly fresh adventure. And it's fresh because how they're treating this hero narratively is fresh. And the way and how this is our first hero that is completely original to the MCU. It's not coming from any of the films, and like the other heroes we're getting this year, it's not She-Hulk who has a connection to Hulk. It's not Ms. Marvel who has a connection to Captain Marvel. This is a hero that completely on his own.
Which, and have you felt this way about this show? And all, I feel like the general going audience is not talking about this show. And I say that because all of my friends were like, "Oh, it came out already."
Yeah,
that's
and
crazy
I feel that's not a fault of the marketing. I think the marketing has been amazing. So it's curious that we're seeing that.
Yeah, because like my girlfriend, she totally forgot it had come out, and you know I've been talking about it. So I don't know. I feel like I need to see by episode 3 how the show is doing. Because it worries. I'm sure we'll see.
I think they should have launched 2 episodes. I think they should have launched 2 episodes.
I agree.
I think that's what not in the same way that I feel Hawkeye was necessary for two episodes to feel the story. Because this is a mystery. This is a puzzle you're collaging together with Stephen Grant. And I can tell you guys,
it's just to get people on board.
Yeah, by next week, like by the end of episode 2, you're like, okay, this took off. This has reached another level.
You're like, okay, now I know what we're doing. Just wait till episode 4, though. By episode 4, you're going to be like, oh, what the fuck is going on now?
I mean, if you're not into it by episode 4, there's a problem with the show for you, and that's totally fine. But yeah, that's my weekly ranking. Moon Knight comes in at number 1. Zach,
all right. I'll probably end up missing a movie. I'm not going to lie. And there's one movie I can't talk about that I saw this week because the embargo is until Tuesday. That's Fantastic Beasts 3. I tweeted out my reaction, so you can at least go see my reaction if you want to.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
I hope I have a different embargo because I'm only watching it on Monday. I thought I had more time.
Yeah, no. April 5th. Okay. So, at the bottom, Morbius, whatever the fuck you want to call this.
No call him Mobius. Mobius is Loki. We love him.
This was terrible. This is god awful. I've seen it twice. I'll put it that way. I've seen it twice.
Why?
Because my girlfriend and my best friend, we'd already bought tickets for. And I told them I would go. Oh, dude, no. I told them we would go see it. And I said it's not good.
You're a man. You're a man of strong will.
So I went. I took a nice nap. Not gonna lie. The movie finishes. My friend looks over to me and he goes, "That is like the best Marvel in a like the best non-MCU Marvel film in like the last 10 years." I shit you not. He says this to me, and I look him in the eyes and I said, "You better be fucking joking. This better be an April Fool's joke. Do not fuck with me on this stuff." And thankfully, he ended up admitting, yes, I was joking. He goes, "But it's not that bad." He goes, "It's fine." And that's how my girlfriend felt. She goes, "It's fine." It's just a poorly conceived, illogical piece of shit. I will never watch this movie again. I never want to see this movie again. And honestly, I never want to see Morbius again. I never want to see him show back up. I don't care what they showed in that post-credit scene. They were the stupidest. And I can't believe Kevin Feige. I don't know what the fuck you were feeling right now,
Oh, I
But
have an idea.
yeah, what is it?
I mean, he's furious. He's turning into the
Yeah.
Hulk.
I will say this though, and I am. Is it okay if I spoil it, or are we gonna spoil it a little bit later?
Well, if we'll spoil, I mean, the director has spoiled it, so let's do
Yeah.
it later so we can have a
Okay.
proper warning
Because
come
I
out. Not
have a
right now.
theory on stuff. Because this movie feels like the studio tore it apart. If I'm being honest, I mean that is an honest calculate. I think the
I
studio tore some
disagree
shit
with
on
that
this.
wording only because I don't think there was a vision in the first place.
There wasn't a vision, but you can clearly tell something was changed. In two spots, and
Is there anything that wasn't changed? That's more how I see it.
yeah, but we'll talk about it when we get to spoilers. I don't want to spoil it for people. It was fucking terrible. Everything else I saw this week I liked though. So,
Okay.
well, there's one other thing I watched that I didn't really like, but I can't talk about that one either till Wednesday. And I don't even think I can mention it yet. It's another Chris Pine film. I'll just say that. If you know what it is, you know what it is.
I'm watching that tonight. I have the screener right now.
I hope you like it. Up next, this is tough. What I have four more things to watch, or four more things to mention. But when I say this next one, do understand that I really, 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 really like this, and that's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I really, 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 really like this movie. If it wasn't for the fucking humans, this movie would be a perfect Sonic movie. It's literally everything with Sonic, Tails, Knuckles is perfect. The last 30 minutes is arguably the best stuff that we've ever seen in a video game movie. That not including Ready Player One or Free Buy, but an actual adaptation. This is like the opposite of what most movies do. Is it actually gets better as it goes along? Besides some weird subplot where they have to go save Sonic and Tails at a wedding. I digress. That scene was terrible.
It made no sense too.
It made no sense. I was
gave
literally
it no thought.
As it was going on. I'm like, you could have rewritten this 30 different ways, and it would have been faster. This movie's 2 hours and 2 minutes, and it doesn't need to be 2 hours and 2 minutes.
And you feel that runtime. As much as I think this is the far superior movie to that first one, the first one has overall better pacing, I feel.
Exactly. But Tails, awesome. Sonic and Tails relationship, great. Knuckles versus Sonic, awesome. So
Knuckles
cool
is
they're
the
fighting.
MVP in this movie.
Oh, Knuckles is great. And then the post-credit scene, holy shit. Like I knew even before, because I asked Ren about it, because I wanted to know if there was one, and then I was taking my cousin's kid to see it.
No, as soon as I put my tweet out last week for the reaction for the film, you just messaged me like, is it blah blah blah, and I'm like, yep, it is.
Okay. And it's cool, and I love the reveal of it.
Awesome.
And no, if you've seen it, do not spoil it in the fucking chat.
Yeah,
I will block you. I will
it.
block you if you're gonna do that. Don't do that. People still haven't seen it. It's not out here yet.
Yeah.
But man, I loved it. And then the last 10 minutes of that fight scene, I knew it was coming. Like I knew it was coming. You did, but I knew it was coming. Like from the setup and everything like that. It was clearly seen from a mile away. I was so hyped for it though. I was not gonna lie. That was just perfect. So
it was dope.
Awesome stuff there. Next up, Moon Knight, episode 1. Now everything up in here, I loved. Moon Knight is not just it's the best MCU premiere for me. It is personally, like, since I've seen episode 4, as long as 5 and 6 don't suck, this is gonna be my favorite show that MCU's done. But just from basing it on episode 1, this show is fucking
If they don't fuck it up, because I don't have a bad episode. I don't even have an okay episode.
They're all great.
This is really good. This is really good. Oh, this is really good.
Episode 1 is awesome.
And they're all long too. They're all long episodes.
Yeah. I had someone message me and ask, like, oh, did you see Oscar Isaac didn't sign for a deal? And I'm like, well, yeah, we knew that. Kevin Feige said he's not signing people to long-term deals anymore. He would rather just take the creative vision. But here's the thing. If you give them good projects, they are going to want to come back. And interesting characters. What I've seen, Oscar Isaac coming back.
And I think it's important to acknowledge also there's lots of money in this. So
yes, Oscar Isaac's gonna come back. I can nearly guarantee that. And I haven't even seen the conclusion. I mean, maybe he dies. You know, maybe Moon Knight dies. But I highly there's no other characters that have ever been Moon Knight, right? From my understanding.
Someone's gonna cut this clip out if that happens.
I know. But I love this first episode. I've seen it 3 times and I just can't get enough of it. Like, it's so much fun. And like a lot of my friends who aren't like that into the MCU, like they tried it and they're like, I don't get his accent. And I'm like, well, there's a couple things you need to understand. Clearly he's suffering from multiple personalities. So, and we don't
identity disorder.
So I want to ask you this. And if you have a theory on something based on the other episodes, don't say anything. But based on this one alone, I've had this thought since the first time I watched it. I think Mark's his main one, right? Mark is the main one, right? Or Stephen Grant.
I think in this one they're changing it a little bit. Like Stephen is the main one, but I think Mark will become the main one.
Okay, so
by the end of the show.
Because the 2 comic runs I'm reading, Stephen is the main one.
Yeah.
Correct. So I actually think they're gonna change that. I think Stephen is the fake one. Well, I don't know if you can say fake. It's the same. It's so hard to discuss because it is the same fucking person. So, but I fucking love this show. It's perfect. It's fucking perfect. I can't believe we have to wait 4 weeks for that.
And before we move on, then I want to talk about if you guys have any theories, having just seen episode 1. I want to start doing this. Go to my spoiler-free review, my spoiler review, that is. Go to my spoiler review of episode 1. If you have any theories, throw them in the comments, and I will start featuring them in the upcoming weeks. So your theories for episode 2, when you comment on my episode 1 review, I will feature them in the episode 2 review, which I'm going to be recording tomorrow or Tuesday. So go there ASAP. Do it, and you'll be featured in that upcoming video. And then in episode 2, you'll comment. You'll be featured in episode 3, and in episode 3, and
so on and so forth. Right. So, all right, that's where I'm going to end that one. The next 2 I have are 2 A24 movies. I actually saw one last night. It premiered
over Moon Knight
at Telluride. Yeah, at Telluride. Shut the fuck up. I love them all. Saw this at Telluride. And, well, I didn't see this at Telluride. It premiered at Telluride and actually came to the Phoenix Film Festival. It was my girlfriend's most anticipated film of the entire year. And I was I was interested because I didn't know if I was, like, how do you make a movie on this? Because it was cute as a short, but an 1.5-hour film, really? Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
So wait, you had only seen the short, or had you seen the movie?
I just saw the movie. But I never thought.
No, but before,
I'd seen the shorts. I'd seen the shorts.
Okay, you had seen the short, and last night or something, you watched the movie, the feature for the first time.
Yep.
Oh, okay, okay.
I never thought, like, when I heard that they had made a movie, I'm like, how the fuck do you make a movie from 4-minute shorts? Which it actually won awards at Sundance. I didn't know that.
Wow.
This movie is currently 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I see why. It's hilarious. The hour and it's filmed like a mockumentary, and it's like fucking downright funny, but weirdly emotional. It's super simple too. You don't feel the pacing, which was something I was actually really worried I was going to feel. And because the movie's literally 90 minutes, every 30 minutes, the story changes and gives you that next bit of info to get you more excited for the next piece. Or more emotionally invested. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I was emotionally invested with a fucking shell with a googly eye and with shoes on. But it's so funny, it's so charming. And it's just great. Like this is one of my favorite films of the year. I'm like, we talked about our last podcast.
I mean, it's above Moon Knight.
Yeah. I mean, but I love Moon Knight, so but that's where I'm going to leave.
Exactly. That's what you love Moon Knight that much, and you're putting this above.
I love this, dude. I loved it. I fucking loved it because I love the shorts. They're cute, but the fact that it proved me wrong that you can make a movie on this and it be fucking near perfect. That's a lot to say. Like I had really rarely any issues with this film. So, yeah. At my number 1 though, I talked about it on the last one. I could be wrong. I don't think I did, but It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I think you did, because it
Oh
came out
well.
like beginning of April. But do it. End of March.
This movie's fucking perfect. I didn't know Anthony and Joe Russo had actually produced this thing.
Oh, I didn't either until
Neither
now.
did I. Literally, I saw the credits and I'm like, is that the same Russos? And then I saw them actually talking about the movie, and I'm like, oh
Ah,
shit, it really was them. This movie's. I mean, you haven't seen it yet, so I'm not. If you've
no,
have you only seen the trailer? I'm just curious. Have you even
I
seen?
haven't even seen the trailer.
Okay, I didn't see the trailer either for this, so I went back and watched it after I'd seen the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That trailer sucks compared to the movie. Like fucking terrible sucks.
All
Like
right.
it does not sell what the movie is. I'm not gonna say much more because this is a movie that you experience not knowing anything about.
Okay.
That's all you need to know. Like I
All
just
right.
the less you know the better. That's kind of the way that I found out about this movie. Like even my review is pretty vague besides talking about like certain things. So I'm not gonna say anymore because I don't want you to be spoiled. So that's my number one. It's
All righty.
if I wasn't biased towards the Batman, this would be my favorite film of the year.
All right. Movie Fan Weekly Ranking. Number 1, Cargo. Number 2, The Adam Project. Number 3, Nightmare Alley. Number 4, The Bubble. And number 5, The Oscars. Well, some parts. Um, it's true. I didn't rank the Oscars. I wouldn't rank the Oscars, but I'd probably only rank it above Morbius
Same.
because it was morbid. It was morbid itself. Tony Movie Chappie Weekend Watch. For me, the only bad movie I saw this week for Morbius. Yeah, sadly, I have to agree. Oh, you're giving a comment as well. Okay, for Morbius, yeah, I sadly have to agree. This was pretty bad. 3, Monsters vs. Aliens. Number 2, The Ghost Writer. And number 1, Lost in Space Season 3 finale. Ghost Writer is an underrated movie. What else we got? My weekly ranking. Number 10, Morbius. Number 9, The Oscars. Number 8, Being the Ricardos. Number 7, The Lost Daughter. Wow. Number 6, The Tragedy of Macbeth. Number 5, Parallel Mothers. Number 4, Belfast. Number 3, Only Murders in the Building. Fuck yes. Number 2, Moon Knight Episode 1. And number 1, Severance Episode 1 through 3. I am not watching Severance, but I've heard I haven't heard mixed things. I heard a lot of good things, but then Bruna was watching it and she didn't care for it.
How
Yeah.
far did she get? I'm just curious. How
I
far did she get?
no idea.
Okay,
No idea.
so
I know she watched more than one,
I've seen the
but I don't know
first
if she watched
two,
3, 4. Yeah.
and I don't care either. But
Okay.
I'm sold to finish it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like I
All
want to see what the hype is.
Eric Thorpe. Hey guys, my weekly ranking for the last 2 weeks incoming. Number 1, The Batman. Number 2, Goldeneye. Number 3, Moon Knight Episode 1. Number 4, The Lobster. Number 5, another person who watched. Did it play somewhere on TV or did it drop on a streaming service? I'm curious now because that's 2 people who watched Ghostwriter. Number 6, Robin. I still need to watch Robin. Number 7, Puss in Boots. Where's 2 of 2? Number 8, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Number 9, Shit. That's either Morbius or the Oscars. I'm not, but I'm guessing it's neither, and you're actually putting Moonfall beneath Shit. I think for 2 acts, there's enough things to like, but I totally get it because that 3rd act certainly takes it down. I have more. Luis Feliciano, weekly ranking. Just one. Better Call Saul season 1 through 4 rewatch. Season 5 will be on Netflix tomorrow, Monday, April 4th. All right. Thank you for sharing, Eric. Not Eric, Luis. I'm sorry. Do we have any more? I don't think so. I'm not finding it. I'm going to assume there isn't another weekly ranking. No, there is. With Diminishing Scott. Weekly ranking. Number 1, Deep Water. Interesting story. I'm glad you liked it, my friend. Number 2, Superman and Lois, episodes 8 and 9. I still have to watch 9. I don't think I'm caught up. I'm mostly caught up. I'm missing 1 episode, so it was probably 9. Number 3, Bad Woman, season 1 revisit. Number 4, Morbius. Saw it with my sister. Lastly, Moon Knight, because streams actor? I don't know what that means. But you liked Morbius more than Moon Knight. Wow, okay. All right, and that's it for weekly ranking.
No, he said it's because the Moon Knight stream acts up, like it wasn't working.
Oh, okay. So you couldn't watch the episodes, so there's no ranking for Moon Knight, but you tried to watch it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about. I want to start with the Oscars.
I was also going to ask you: are we
Hmm.
talking about fuckboy Ezra Miller?
None in the topics. If anyone wants to ask us about it,
Okay.
or if you want to use it as a comparison point to the Will Smith situation, feel free. But it's because we're already kind of fusing two topics together. So this week, Morbius came out, ladies and gentlemen, and there's not really much to spoil in the movie itself. So we're probably we're not gonna seek out to spoil what happens in the post-credit scenes, even though the director himself did that already. But we're going to be speaking freely about Morbius. So if any of those spoilers in the post-credit scenes happen to come out, you shouldn't care, really. You shouldn't care because the filmmakers didn't care. But if you care, be careful because we don't know when we're going to bring that out. It's just going to come up in the conversation. So Morbius came out. I saw it on the 24th. It was an early fan screening. You could win tickets to it, and I did. I had to choose between that and Ambulance, which I didn't rank. I saw it last week, but Ambulance comes right behind Moon Knight. Ambulance is fucking awesome. It's my number 2 movie of the year right now. That's Tuesday. How fucking awesome it is. Dude. It's so good.
I'm excited. Is it long? Good. I'm just curious. What's the runtime on it?
So IMDb supposedly says 1 hour and 40 minutes, but I swear that it ended with 2 hours.
It's 2:16. It's updated to 2:16 now.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it's not too. I didn't feel. There are moments where it drags, but you certainly don't feel like it's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Like some Michael Bay films, right?
Like some Michael Bay films, yeah. This isn't Six Underground Michael Bay. This is Transformers 1 or Armageddon Michael Bay.
Or The Rock.
Or Pain and Gain. Those are his top 3 for me, and maybe Ambulance just cracks in. Anyway, so Morbius comes out. I saw it last week. And I had to hold my tongue for an entire week. I had to be like, this is bad, and I cannot talk about it like fully. I was able to put my reactions out, and me and my group of critic friends, we all went there because we were all going to Ambulance, Zach, and then that Morbius event came in, and we're like, oh shit, I'm gonna cancel Ambulance because Ambulance, we had the screening on the 24th. Ambulance was released here wide on the 25th. So even if we didn't go to the press screening, we could literally watch it the next day if we wanted to. Morbius was going to be the biggest point of conversation. Was going to generate the most clicks, and we would be able to watch it a lot more in advance than we would Ambulance. So we were not excited for Morbius. I cannot speak for them. I don't know how they think, but I personally went into Morbius like, I'm not excited for this, but all the hypotheses run through my head. Like, I hope this movie proves me wrong. I imagine myself tweeting out possibly like, holy shit, I liked Morbius, something like that. I want to like this movie. I hope this movie proves me wrong. Sadly, it didn't feel like it. But it's not just that the movie is bland, it's bad, it's an interesting. It's why it is all of those things. Because Morbius seems to be a fascinating showcase about how Sony... It depends on how you want to put it. You maybe want to put it in a way of Sony learned all the wrong lessons from The Amazing Spider-Man. I feel like they didn't learn any lessons. After all these years, after the studio-to-studio collaboration and relationship that they created with MCU, Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige, it seems when it comes to their own thing and they want to create their own cinematic universe, which is fair, do it. But do it properly. Do it in a way that makes sense. Do it in a way that works. And it seems they're going back to their old, let's put the cart in front of the bulls kind of mentality, kind of philosophy. where they're picking and choosing, they're rearranging things, even though it breaks the logic within their own movies. So it's disheartening, and it feels like a disaster. It feels like you're watching this extreme slow-mo train wreck kind of happening, and yet the train is just here. The train wreck itself hasn't happened, but you're just watching it.
But
and
the
it's
train
about to
continues to
at any moment.
happen after the end
Yeah.
credit scene too. That like I watched this
Oh,
movie.
I'm just talking about
Oh.
the post credits.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, like, I felt frustrated, and then I felt more fucking frustrated leaving the
No,
theater.
because the movie itself, yeah, it's bad. It's completely uninteresting. You don't really care for anything or anyone, but it is your standard bad movie, you know. And then the post-credit scenes are like, holy shit, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? That was the question running.
I think
through
we
my
should
mind.
spoil it. Honestly, if any of you guys are interested in seeing it, don't save your money. And if you really are, don't want to be spoiled, uh, I'm gonna hold King Shark in my hand.
I'm gonna hold him.
I'm gonna hold him in my hand for right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hold him here.
But
We're
because
gonna talk spoilers.
there isn't anything to spoil in the movie itself. We're just going to talk about the post-credit scenes. And I have a video about those post-credit scenes, what happens, what I think it means. I wondered, like, those videos are just like to ramble and theorize and take what we see right then and there. So, Zach, it doesn't make any sense that Michael Keaton's Vulture comes into this world, because that's not how the spell works.
That's not set up, no. And my friend was trying to like argue with me on that, and I'm like, the spell is sending people back. If it sent Keaton back, in theory, then it should send Zendaya, Ned, Spider-Man, Happy, anyone who knew Peter. The whole fucking world should have gone. The whole fucking world should have gone then.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're telling me.
What the spell did at the end was put everyone back where they belonged. Guess what? Michael Keaton does not belong in the Sonyverse. It is so completely illogical and nonsensical, Zach. My brain at first didn't want to accept that it was this that was happening. It couldn't. At first I was like, oh, okay, it's a different Michael Keaton after all. Like, the guy we saw in the trailers, that's not the Michael Keaton it's Michael Keaton again, but he's playing a variant, and this variant belongs in. No, it's the Michael Keaton from the MCU.
And do you know what else? I saw someone tweet this out, and I wish I had the name. They literally said they could have made this so easy that at the end of No Way Home, Vulture was breaking out of prison, had his suit, was flying up in the sky, and went through it on accident. Or something.
Yeah.
Would have made more sense. You could have sold me on that, you know?
He probably couldn't, but thanks to it being a spell and all, he probably couldn't cross that threshold. But you know what? I probably would have accepted. I certainly would have accepted it a whole lot better than this that I don't accept.
Yeah. And then you get to the second post-credit scene. Which is even worse. The ADR is terrible in there. That was the
ADR stuff. Like, the moment he doesn't take off his mask, and I'm like, oh, so this is what you were doing in January.
ADR, and then like you can clearly tell he was just looking at something green screen. Like he was not talking to anyone.
And
like, the way they filmed it, it was
and it barely sounds like him. It was a weird. It was either. I mean, they
tried to modulate the voice, but it doesn't sound good. They modulated his voice
immensely, or it was a really good Michael Keaton sound alike, but not quite Michael Keaton. You know?
And so he flies up. Which, first off, no one else can find Michael Morbius. The Vulture can.
How did he find him? How did they first establish contact? Why did Morbius go there? Why did he accept this message that came out?
Why is he driving a car? Why didn't he fly there?
Exactly. How did Vulture get the suit? How does he power the suit?
So
where's the Stark tech in this world? Where's the
that is
tech
my
in
thing,
this world?
dude. I have an idea of the suit thing, and I hate this thing so much because Sony's not smart enough to do this at all. Like, they're just gonna say he has the suit. remember Amazing Spider-Man 2, the Vulture suit?
He's a resourceful guy. That's what the director.
That's literally what they're gonna.
I felt so fucking insulted by the director on this because he's being interviewed by Cinema Blend. And he's like, "Oh, if he's in this new universe, how did this is the Cinema Blend guy? He just talks like that. I assume. I don't know who's at Cinema Blend or what's not. It's not a site I go to be honest. And they're like, "Oh, how did he get the suits?" And the director's all like, he's a genius, you know. He's a resourceful guy. If you look at it, it's not quite the same suits that he's wearing. It's not quite the same colors. I'm like, that doesn't fucking matter. That you have to explain how he gets this shit. I mean, eventually, sure, you can say Oscorp. Cool. Tell me now that he has the fucking suit on.
Well, that's why I was gonna say. The only logical way is that this is in Garfield's world, and he went and got the suit from Oscorp that we saw.
It makes no sense that
it doesn't.
Garfield's world.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Because the one thing that is confirmed here is that this is the Venom world. This is the same universe, the same New York, the same America. Because Venom is not in New York. It's
something we need to take into Which something we need to take into context too is first off, Garfield, you're good. Don't come back. Don't come back to a Sony property.
Yeah, don't come back. And also, this is the same world as Venom. And if you're telling me now that, it is Andrew Garfield, no, it's not, because Venom didn't know what a Spider-Man was the first time he went to the MCU.
And that's the other thing. Why does Morbius say, "Oh, that's intriguing. Oh, we should team up"?
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Because because look. The marketing of this film is telling you that this is one of the most conflicted characters, the line between good and evil. No, this is a good guy. He's a hero.
He's a good guy.
That's what the movie establishes him as a hero. Period.
The other thing that bothers me is Morbius has never been a part of the Sinister Six. Never been a part of it.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind that. Bugs the fuck out of me though, because now if you do Sinister Six, which that's what they're trying to set up, which it just feels forced and rushed. I don't want that character on the lineup. That's fucking awful. That's just not even because I don't like the character. Like, he is not a bad guy. Like, the context same with Venom. I mean, they're probably, and I'm telling you right now, you fucking know the Craven end credit scene. We already know it. We already fucking know what that end credit scene is going to be. It's going to be, exactly. It's probably going to be Morbius or it's going to be Vulture again. And I hate it. I literally hate it. I have no hype for Craven anymore. I have no hype from Adam Webb. Sydney Sweeney, fucking Dakota Johnson, get the fuck out of there. Because the same writers who wrote Morbius
get the fuck out.
are writing...
We're an Oscar winner.
Her too. I mean, dude, this is just... It's baffling how bad
it's a disaster waiting to happen.
And then the director said, there is a Spider-Man in this universe.
I don't mind that Morbius is in the Sinister Six because I don't really give a shit what you change for it. Like I don't care what they do. Captain America and Iron Man on Civil War were not the same as the comics, so I don't think that changes anything.
I just for me, but
I'm telling you right now, Morbius in the comics, he eventually became and currently he is an anti-hero, but I like him more as a villain. I think he's much more interesting as a villain.
And there was a villain story to be told in there, making him into a monster, like a horror film. And they got Daniel Espinosa, who directed Life, which I don't think is a great movie, but like, you got a horror director to direct this. You know what I mean? Like, you could have gone with the horror element a little bit heavier. So I don't know. It's trash. It's garbage. It's a piece of shit. And the director said, there is a Spider-Man in this universe. You'll soon find out. Whoever is that Spider-Man, I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. I'm really sorry. And all I walked out of Morbius was going, cool, when's the next Tom Holland movie with the MCU? That's what I care about. Like, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about Venom 3 at this point. I don't, like, if this is the trash you're going to keep feeding us.
It's funny because I like the second Venom.
I do too. I like the first two Venoms.
No. That's not what I said.
I know you don't like the first Venom. I know you don't like the first one.
I like the second Venom more than the second one. I think the second Venom is quite a bit of fun, even if it's not a good movie, like, at all. But it's also not the kind of movie. It's also a movie, Zach, that I got out of it. And I'm like, there's nothing to spoil with this one. I mean, apart from the post-credit scene, like, for better or worse, and clearly one was quite exciting, even though it led to nothing, and the other one is really poor. For better or worse, literally at this point, the biggest takeaway you have taken out of any of these films is the post-credit scenes, because the movies themselves are just standard. They're exactly what you expect. But within that, they could have been good. And one of them, it's fun enough.
I want to
It's
ask you, do
fast
you have
enough.
any hope for Craven? I know Craven has a really good director. Like, I mean, not a really good. He's a good director. He did Most Violent Year. He did
Which I haven't
that
seen. Triple
Triple
Frontier is fine.
Frontier. I think he's a good director, and you have Aaron Taylor Johnson, Russell Crowe, Ariana DeBose. Who's writing that
Look,
film? Who's writing that?
I don't remember, but the thing with Craven the Hunter, I can't tell you exactly that I've had hope at any point. Because I out of principle, I don't think a Morbius movie works, and it didn't.
Jesus
I
Christ.
didn't think a Venom movie worked, and it didn't, if you ask me. And then I don't think a Craven the movie works. And
do you want to know what this guy's written? Do you want to know what he's written? Okay, so I'm going to start with the first movie. Iron Man. Yeah, pretty good, right?
Nice.
Transformers: The Last Night.
Ooh.
Men in Black International.
I didn't think that was too bad, but it's average.
Uncharted.
Okay.
And now Craven, and he did the latest Masters of the Universe screenplay.
I'm not excited for that. Fuck that. I'm not excited for a Craven movie because I don't think a Craven-led movie works. Madam Web, that's laughable to me that would even be considered a Madam Web-led film. That you're joking. At this point, you are joking. And then you have the one I'm really worried about, even though the director is amazing, the character is a proper lead character that I can see a film focused on that person working. But the Spider-Woman Olivia Wilde movie, I don't have hope for that.
No,
right
and
now
she's
I
director,
don't. So because it's also been a while since we heard anything about it.
I don't think it even happened.
Olivia Wilde is doing a Spider-Woman movie, and that's it. And we went into wild speculation because it was exciting that, oh shit, Sony finally has a proper lead character for one of the movies, and it's being directed by Olivia Wilde. That's really fucking cool. And since then, nothing. We were still geeks at the round table when that.
You think they would learn though that like you're working with the MCU, you don't know
after working with the MCU, after the notes Kevin Feige gave them on Amazing Spider-Man 2, which at the time they didn't take, which by the way, they're the studio, it's their movie, they do whatever they want. They don't have to take Kevin Feige's notes, but look how that turned out.
And then they went to him. Then they fucking went back to him.
And now let me say this for in the sake of fairness, in the sake of balance in the force. I don't like the first Venom at all. Most people did. I think Venom Let There Be Carnage is a fun time because it's so fast. It begins and literally ends like that. Most people really liked it. And those didn't have this worry about. Those were standard bad movies. Okay, below average films, quickly forgettable. Morbius is a quickly forgettable movie, and then those post-credit scenes just shows that they're stubbornly, insistingly so, bringing back all those plans, but they don't have foundation. They want to build the roof to a house before building the fucking walls. And that doesn't work. And that just worries me for Sony. Because, Zach, it's like, you know the Renfield movie that's coming out, the Nicolas Cage playing a vampire movie, playing Dracula? Imagine if suddenly in that film, they tease the Dark Universe reforming again. It's picking up an idea that clearly didn't work before, waiting a few years, and then insisting on making it happen again, making the same exact mistakes you did before, which were the cause for it not to work in the first place. And that my brain cannot process that. I don't understand. How this happened.
And that's what I agree with. So I have one last thing to mention before we go to the Oscar topic. But I love your title this week, two disasters in 1 week, because it's true. And one of the things that I really fully believe in is, I think, obviously this movie was made before No Way Home. I think No Way Home, that spell was supposed to take Tom Holland.
Like the version that we saw, was it?
It was not the version we saw now, the previous, but I think No Way Home was supposed to come out before or after this. I think Tom Holland was supposed to leave. I really think at that time they did not have a deal, and the spell was supposed to send Tom Holland out to save the multiverse. I'm sure that would have been something they did.
Mm.
And then from there, that would have, I guess, made somewhat more sense of what they're trying to do. I don't know. I just had this theory. So I don't know. This movie's terrible. This movie's fucking terrible.
All right, quickly before we get to the no, I think we said what we needed to say. But before we get to the proper Q&A portion, the second half of the show, so start throwing in your questions, and consider supporting us through Super Chat or Tip Link, because it literally helps the channel survive. And shout out, because I haven't said it yet, to the channel members Bruna and Stuart. And I need to find a way that Stuart is watching, because I need to arrange. He's the only member right now. I need him to tell me what time the member exclusives Q&A would be good for him, because he's from Australia. So I need to know what's good for him. What time's good?
Does it let you message them at all? I don't know how that works.
He has a Twitter, so I should message him on Twitter. Okay. Zach, before we move on to that, the slap heard around the world. Quick thoughts on the ceremony as a whole, on that moment, and just all the updates that we have been getting through the week.
So I've done
the time when I scheduled this, the time when I decided, okay, this is obviously the main. There's been so many updates since that day. It happened to just this morning when I woke up. There were news about certain projects that fell through. That's not really the important part, but your thoughts on the whole situation and the aftermath of the situation.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So I did like a reaction. I watched the Oscars. I hate watching it every year, and I wasn't going to watch this year, but I wanted to be able to have a platform to still talk about like how they didn't show all 23. Well, they did show all 23, but not in the way that I would have liked it. And especially because the Oscars were longer this year. Funny. That's funny how that works. I loved a lot of the winners. But fuck. The slap heard around the world. I was watching and I was so confused for like, because it was all bleeped out over here. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Oh.
And it took a little bit for it to click that like what was happening. And then once people started tweeting about it, people who were at the ceremony, people who were in other countries who had the uncensored version, that is when I started to get it. See, that's when I started to get a little bit like, huh. Well, that's not good.
Well, that's not good.
There's a lot of thoughts on this. What Chris Rock said, should he have said? I'm in the camp that they should never roast people at the Oscars. Amy Schumer was already roasting people. I thought she was a terrible host. She was. She made jokes about Power the dog. She was trying, but you still shouldn't do that. She made fun of Jennifer Lawrence's weight after having a kid. I don't think that's the fucking best thing to say.
One, I don't think it's fun. I didn't think. I can't believe I'm out here. I'm not defending Amy Schumer, but they're best friends. So.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of okay. But not that I think her joke was funny. Not that I'm disagreeing entirely.
But here's the thing on that. I didn't know. I don't know that. I just thought that was in poor taste. So, I don't like that, and I never have liked when they roast it. Is it funny? Sure, but we're not at a roasting ceremony. We're at the Oscars. This is the prestigious giving away the awards, and I feel like the bits and the jokes get in the way of that. Some of the jokes were pretty terrible in here. Some of the bits were pretty awful. I thought Regina Hall, the COVID thing, went on way too long and became way too fucking cringy.
I felt started out quite funny. I'm like, oh, okay, that's funny, and then it kept going.
It felt way uncomfortable by the end. Yeah. And then even for Lady Aaron says it, I lost all respect to the Amy Schumer who dissed The Last Duel. I lost that. It would have been funnier if you made fun of House of Gucci. Would have been way funnier if you made fun of House of Gucci, which she did. But again, this isn't the
I'm just
time to
surprised
make fun.
any of us have any respect left for Amy Schumer. I lost that
I
at
have no
a
respect
long
for
time
her.
ago.
Yeah. But those are my things. And then Chris Rock came up and made his joke. And while it was in poor taste, and we don't know his side, you know, did he know? Did he not know? I know it's public knowledge, but some of us just don't fucking know. And then other things have come out about it, which again, we don't know. It's all he said, she said type of shit at this point. There are some reports saying that, you know, most of these actors show up for rehearsals and hear every joke going on. There's sayings that said Will Smith heard that joke beforehand. Then there's certain things
Will
that
Smith
said he
was
didn't.
laughing at that joke when it
He
came
also
out.
laughed
There's
at
a
it.
shot after Chris Rock says the joke. There's a quick shot of him, and Jada is just rolling her eyes, but Will is laughing.
Yes,
uproariously.
And I know they have their own shit going on. I get it.
Yeah, I think.
And when he walked up to slap him, the thing about that is, and I love, it could have gotten way worse. I'll say that. I think it could have gotten way worse if Chris Rock, because right after that, Chris Rock goes, "Oh, I coulda," and then doesn't say anything. Doesn't finish his line. I want to know what that next line is, because
I mean, he probably would. I could press charges, which he didn't.
No. And then we find out certain things that the Oscars were asking him to leave, but then like other places are saying, no, that is not true what they are saying. They never asked him to leave. And that the state of California wanted him to leave, but then Chris Rock said, no, I don't want him out, which I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad they didn't drag him out, because that's the thing. If they dragged him out, that would have been fucking terrible. That would have been fucking awful. So
I want to believe that if they had, okay, he's not going willingly, security got him. And once security got there, I want to believe that Will would have been, hey.
I think he would have. I think he would have. But I don't believe that they asked him. Because at first they were like, oh, we couldn't get together to discuss what was. But now you're saying, no, you stop fucking trying to cover your ass so the state of California can also sue you because Chris Rock was there on a job being paid to give, you know what I mean? He was there. Like, he got injured, or not injured, but he got hurt on the job. So, I mean, that's just the truth. So, I feel the thing that pisses me off more about it is that Questlove won Best Documentary, and no one talking about that. Coda won Best Picture, and no one's fucking talking about it. No one's talking about it. And that's what pisses me off, is films like that. This is the type of, like, Coda winning is an underdog story. I don't think people get that. It's an underdog. It broke all the stats. Going forward, stats and precursors don't fucking matter anymore. It's literally just what is the film that attached people the most. And, like, I wouldn't have picked Coda as my number one, but I'm so happy it won.
It was my number two.
And see, but no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
No one's talking about that. No one's talking about Questlove's winning. No one's talking about Troy Coaster as much. No one's talking about Ariana DeBose. No one's talking about Jessica Chastain, who has finally won a fucking Oscar. You know? Even though I didn't love her, like, love the movie she was in, she won an Oscar.
I loved her performance. Yeah.
Same.
I didn't love the movie, sure, but I loved the performance.
That's what pisses me off, is it took away from everyone else.
Yeah. He took it away from himself also,
and that too, because he has been working his ass off to get that Oscar, and within that moment, he ruined it.
And I wouldn't even have given it to him. You know, my vote wasn't good for him, but I loved him in that movie, and I'm happy he won. It's not one of those where I'm mad he won, and he took it away from himself. We're almost at the hour mark, so I'm gonna keep it really simple. I'm gonna kind of walk you through what I felt on the day, what I woke up to, and then how my opinion changed. Kind of went back to the same thing this week. And I should say this. As you can see, looking to the camera, watching us live right now, unless you're listening to us on Spotify, I'm a white guy. So take the first thing I'm about to say with a grain of salt, okay? I'm a white dude. I have no experience directly or even indirectly with what that joke was about.
We both are.
Yes, we both are. Zach is also as well. I didn't want to speak for you, but I'm glad you brought that up. I thought the joke was was funny. I thought it was standard awards fare. Like, it doesn't jump out to me as something you've never heard at awards show. It's the typical thing. But again, it's not something I've experienced directly or indirectly. So I think Will Smith's reaction, the way he reacted to that, was in the wrong. That was the wrong thing to do. That was the wrong way
He
to
could have
react.
said something from his seat too, and that would have been more okay. Like, you're mad.
If he had just said what he said after the slap, I think it would have been fine. I think that would have been an awkward moment, and boy, that was an awkward moment. But overall, that would have been a little bit of a what the fuck is going on, and then we would have just moved on. So I think that reaction was wrong. I think Will Smith is in the wrong for having done that. That being said, and I need to preface this saying there maybe is a cultural thing that clashes here, that I see things completely differently. Remember, I'm Portuguese. I'm not even from America or even closer, never been. It was a slap. Everyone chill the fuck out. It's a slap. He didn't at first, because I woke up to that video.
Ren slapped me on the ass one time.
I woke up to that video, no context. I didn't see what the joke was. The video just opens with everyone laughing, and then I see him walking up and slapping. And before having my caffeine, I thought there was a punch. And when I thought it was a punch, hold up, this is serious. It's a slap. Chill the fuck out, everyone. Will Smith has resigned from the Academy. If he has really resigned out of his own volition, which I don't think he has, but let's for the sake of argument say that he has, fine, sure. If you think that's what's best for him and his career, sure. But the Academy, considering taking away his Oscar and disowning him and suspend him and making him pay up, it's a slap. Chill the fuck out. Grow the fuck up. Are we doing all this? You haven't expelled or taken any Oscars away from a man who assaulted several underage victims for years, or you haven't taken the Oscars away. You haven't even arrested the fucking man who sodomized and I don't want to use the R word, but R-worded a 12-year-old girl. And you're going to take everything away from a person of color amongst all those things. It's very bad optics on you, Academy. Yep. So you're going to do that out of a fucking... He didn't slap a kid. He didn't slap a baby. He didn't slap a puppy or a kitty or a baby seal. He slapped a grown man. So chill the fuck out.
Well, exactly.
If Zach and I... Well, first we have to meet. So if Zach and I ever are in the same physical place at the same time and he slaps me or I slap him, we'll have a heated argument about it. I'll call him some names. He'll call me some names. I'll maybe slap him back. But that's it. It ends there. I'm going back to a little bit of the Morbius, but my brain can't process. Like, it's a slap. Chill the fuck out. Okay? Even in school, when if I punched someone, again, it'd be very different. If Will Smith punched Chris Rock, very different. It's a big difference between this and this.
Do you think he thought about it? Like, do you think he thought in his head, punch, I have to slap?
I don't know. I thought I need to do something. I'm going to go up to him. And yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's a slap. Let's all chill the fuck out.
Well, and that's my other thing.
It's the location. It's the moment where it happened. It's the ceremony, the occasion where it happened that is severe. But it is still a slap.
But the other thing to it, too, is now he's, Bad Boys 4 is not moving forward. There's a Netflix movie not moving forward. I want to compare this as well to Ezra Miller, who choked a woman. Yeah. And then you have the Hawaii stuff going on. 2 different scenarios in Hawaii.
And then you have the other, because before the Hawaii one, he also choked the man and attacked another girl, and then the Hawaii stuff came out.
And then some actress came out and talked about how he's always been like this. Every set, he's always acted like this shit. Which I will say, for people with Fantastic Beasts, he's surprisingly not in it that much. So good for it.
Yay!
Ezra Miller should lose his career. He should not have a career anymore.
I agree.
Will, at his worst point in time, it's a one time he did it. He apologized. Let's move the fuck on. Done. He shouldn't. I don't think he should. I don't think his career should hurt from this, to be honest. That's just my personal opinion.
Not too long.
No.
Like, I think it's important that the Academy addresses the situation. I think it's important that he sits down with the Academy and has a discussion with the Academy.
Yeah.
But I think everything else has been a little bit overblown.
I want to ask you, do you think he's ever nominated again? Just
that's tough. It's tough to say. Because you have to come to a point where he gives a nomination-worthy performance, which I'm not saying he's never capable of doing it again, but the right movie has to... A ton of pieces have to be put in place for that to even be considered, for him to be either in contention. Because to get nominated for an Oscar in the first place is really fucking hard.
yeah.
So, and I'm sure there are members in the Academy that will have prejudice against that from now on. But will enough have prejudice against that they don't nominate him out of principle? I don't know. There are a lot of members in the Academy, thankfully. But I don't know. So yeah. All right. Starting with questions.
There are a ton on the community tab, by the way.
Oh, okay. You want to go for... Yeah, I forgot about the community tab.
I started throwing people over there just so you're not running through. So I don't know if you want to try and find some that were up above, but I do know some.
If you have them right in front, start with one from there, and I'll find one here, and then we'll do it one at a time.
All right. G. Colby Porter has a couple. Lady Aaron has a couple, and Nate Ackenberg. I'm only going to take a couple here and there. So G. Colby's asked, when do you think we will get the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer? This week. I would not be shocked if it's tomorrow. Yep, because Sonic's the next big film. It comes out this week here, and they got to get that film going. They certainly want to
launch it with Morbius, but I remember when last time we were asked about this, I expected like the moment New Moon Knight comes out or right after. I think I'm not willing to bet tomorrow, but I would say I would be comfortable in saying this week.
I say it's going to happen before Doctor Strange's ticket.
Yes.
Because that's why I'm thinking Monday, because then Tuesday they take a break. Everyone's still talking about Thor. Wednesday they drop a new teaser or a new final trailer for Doctor Strange.
On sale for Doctor Strange?
Probably Wednesday at like 10 a.m. our time.
Then I would say Wednesday. You want to get the hype of Thor after you focus on.
Oh,
yes, because you want to get the hype on Thor after you focus on. Hey, Doctor Strange, tickets on sale, and now everyone's got their tickets. Okay, here's Thor.
Thor might be Thursday then. Thor might be Thursday. Wednesday, because from what I've heard, they have if you go to one of their channels, they have something unlisted, and it says Doctor Strange. So I'm assuming that it's a Doctor Strange tickets on sale now trailer. So that's what I'm doing. But Thor: Love and Thunder, if it's not this week, it's the week of Fantastic Beasts. I mean, it's this week or next week. They're not waiting till Doctor Strange to drop this thing.
I agree. Nathan Holton. Is it weird to go to the cinema alone? None of my friends or family like movies, so I go by myself. No, dude, do it. I love going to movies alone. It's awesome. I love it. I went to Ambulance alone. I was having the time of my life. It's my second favorite movie of the year. Is it great to go with families or family or friends if you have them and they like to go to the movies? Because I tell you, no one, I mean, except critic friends, but let's take those out of the equation because those are the exception. Like my friends, they like going to the movies. Like it's one of those things, who doesn't like movies? But no one likes movies as much as I do. So no, it's not weird at all. Don't feel weird, man. Celebrate that. Have the time of your life. You don't need to chit-chat with anyone. You don't look at it. It's just you and the movie you're hopefully going to enjoy. What do you think, Zach?
I love going by myself, but I also like taking friends and family. You know, it just kind of depends.
Yeah, I like both, but there's nothing wrong with going alone at all.
Ready for the next one?
Yes, sir.
All right, next one we got Lady Aaron. Ren Zach, what is your opinion on what's going on with Bruce Willis? I think it's sad and I wish him well. Now, I want to say something with this.
Mm.
I don't have an opinion on it because it's just fucking sad. It's just sad
Yeah.
and depressing. So what I want to frame this question on is our top 3 favorite Bruce Willis performances in honor of how grand he is.
Oh, you want
So,
off the top of my head?
yeah,
Well,
just off
number
the
one
top.
is easy. It's Unbreakable.
Yep, that's mine too.
Absolutely. Then it's Looper because it's the last time.
Loop, yep.
Well, now it's weird to phrase it like this, but it's the last time we saw Bruce Willis, as he is, the great Bruce Willis. And number 3, I have to go. Overrated. I like it. It's a good movie, but I'm going Sixth Sense for number 3.
Nice pick. So I would do your top 2, and then I have to do Die Hard as my number 3. I love him as John McClane so
How didn't
much.
I go for Die Hard? You know what? I'm taking Sixth Sense out. I'm putting Die Hard over Looper. I generally think Unbreakable is his best performance.
Best performance, yep. Looper's my second favorite film of his, so I'm going to stick Looper at my number 2. I love Looper, but it's sad, it's depressing, but, I wish him the best, and I hope, that he's, again, surrounded by loved ones. I haven't watched any of his VOD films that he's been doing.
Me neither. And I mean, I used to need to put something on screen to fall asleep to, and so I'm sure I've put several of his playing to just fall asleep to. I never properly watched them, but now I've grown up. I've evolved. I've progressed. I only need like audio. I use my headphones to fall asleep to something. I don't need to be looking at anything. So yeah. All right. Nate Ankenbauer, thoughts on Batman Joker deleted scene? Glad it wasn't in the movie. It doesn't belong in that movie anywhere. It breaks the pacing completely. It just spoon feeds you information. I don't even think we needed a Joker right now, so I like it as it is with that final scene. I like the chemistry that we see from there, but that's it. I don't think we lost too terribly much by not having that in the film. Mm-hmm. Zach, what about you?
So this was actually the next one I was going to pick because Nate also commented on this.
Okay.
I loved the scene. It was not needed at all in the movie, and I'm happy they cut it out. And honestly, like, I think people need to understand Barry, like, from everything Matt Reeves is not putting Barry. If Barry is in the next one, he's not the main villain. It just seems like they're not, like, that's not the direction he wants to go. I think Barry's going to be the main character in the Arkham Asylum series he's making. And from this scene, cool, I'm for it. I think it's very interesting, and I do, like you said, the chemistry between them both is very strong.
All right. What do you have next?
So I got another one from G. Colby. For Zach, in honor of Taylor Hawkins passing away, what was your favorite memory of seeing the Foo Fighters in concert if you had? So this one's for me. I'm going to talk about. I don't know if you listen to the Foo Fighters or if you know Taylor Hawkins all too much.
They were never like a band I particularly enjoyed. So I knew they had a drummer, obviously, but I couldn't have named you. But it was just sad to see because I knew immediately it would hit you very personally.
He died on my birthday. He died on my fucking birthday, man. Like,
true.
Dude, so we're at dinner.
I haven't even seen the movie. I haven't even seen their movie. I still have it ready to go, but I need my housemate to watch it and all. But
the movie's not. It's not the best. But the thing
we still want to watch it because he's a fan. Yeah. So to me, like, if you're asking me, it didn't hit me personally, but it's always fucking sad when someone dies like out of nowhere. And the dude was 51, 50?
Yeah.
He was really fucking young, so it's sad. Even though I didn't.
And the thing that's crazy is, and it makes me even more sad. I loved listening to the junket for the film because we have to know a lot more about just the band. They don't do a lot of interviews altogether. And he had 3 kids, 3 young kids, and he said that he showed one of his daughters a test screening of Studio 666. And I guess she loves horror and stuff. So it was like nice hearing how much they bonded over that. But she goes, Dad, I like the version without the blood and you guys seeing the strings and them carrying you guys around without the CGI. And it's just like, that's like a thing that like, I'm just like, fuck, man. So it's so sad, but rest in peace to him. My thoughts and prayers go with his entire family.
Absolutely. Lady Aaron, is Jared Leto's performance once in Morbius than in House of Gucci or not? No, not at all. Not even close. It's a
He's
fine
better.
performance. He's doing his
Yeah.
job very competently. He's a very committed performer. And in House of Gucci, he's also very committed. One went an extreme, and one went the other. He's fine in the role. It's just that the role isn't very interesting. Zach, what's next? If you have anything.
Tony Movie Chappie asks, I have a lot. So after Tony Movie Chappie asks, after Chris Stuckman's guilty pleasure video on Moonfall, I wanted to ask you guys, what are some of your favorite guilty pleasure movies?
Well, my number one is and probably always will be Dirty Dancing. That's the biggest guilty pleasure for me. I think that, I mean, obviously the original Mortal Kombat is a very big guilty pleasure. And I think that's it. Nothing else like jumps to mind. What about you?
Serenity. I love that movie so much. It's so fucking terrible, but I make fun of that thing.
I always forget. We get this question all the time, and I always fucking forget. Yours is Serenity, and I should know.
But
I should know.
I have another one.
All the time.
Is okay. This Means War with Tom Hardy?
I still haven't seen that one. I still haven't
really
seen that movie.
Oh, no, it's so bad. It's so bad, but it's so enjoyable. Like, I don't know what it is about that movie, but I fucking love that movie. And in fact, that movie, I love listening to Tom Hardy talk about that. He goes, I will never do another romantic comedy or any comedy after that. But then he did Venom, so I don't know.
Okay.
So you got one, or you need me to pull another one?
Yes, please pull another one because I lost it.
I'm going to probably mispronounce his name. Katia Neto asked, not sure if you've gotten this question, Neto, but what is one of your what is one movie / TV show genre or subgenre you have involuntary or not avoided? Mine is gore horror. I have not watched a single movie that falls into that category for some reason. Cannot understand people who enjoy those. This question's tough for me because we review stuff, and I don't know if this kind of feels for you. There's stuff I don't care about. Documentaries, don't care about. But sometimes I'll watch them because either I'm asked to, or they're sent my way, or they're nominated for an Oscar. I don't really care for documentaries. I don't. Musicals are another close one too. You got to really fucking prove me if your musical is gonna be good.
Wow.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I really will watch anything and try anything.
Like, to me, it's not even that I avoid them like Katya suggested, but documentaries I might want. I just never seek them out. Like, every year, the documentaries I watch, and sometimes I don't even finish them all, and I don't have time to watch them all, are usually like I leave myself to watch documentaries that get nominated for Best Picture. And this year, I didn't watch any of them. I didn't finish Summer of Soul. Because it just doesn't hit me. It doesn't stay with me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is fine, but it's still going, and I've gotten what it's going for. Obviously, it's not speaking to an experience that I lived or that I connect with, not even as a color thing, but as a cultural thing. Like, my background is not even in America. I don't have that history directly or indirectly. So that was one I was watching, and I'm like, this is really good. This is really enjoyable. And you have some great music, obviously, in that documentary. I'm so happy for Questlove, just because I love Questlove. But one of the factors that helped in that is I didn't have time to finish Summer of Soul. But outside of that, also, like, yeah, it didn't connect to me. So I watched most of it, by the way. I have like 20 minutes left, but it would be important for me to say I didn't finish it. All right. GGP, why would Morbius be interested in catching Spider-Man if he had no connection and Spider-Man hasn't even shown up in this universe? Exactly that. Look, obviously, by the time No Way Home finishes, everyone that knew who Spider-Man was has forgotten about Spider-Man. But Morbius doesn't even know what a Spider-Man is. And yet he's like, intriguing. He's saying intriguing to this obviously bad guy while he's a good guy. It's terrible. It's terrible, guys. It's terrible. Zach, what comes next?
Film Bruna asks, are you a Knuckles, a Tails, or a Sonic?
I am Knuckles, because I am made of 1,000,000% muscle. And if you've seen the movie, you know what that is.
That was such a fucking good point.
Like, when that line came up, my housemate, he was my +1 for the screening. He turned to me and was like, that's you.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, yes, it is, baby.
For me, it's Sonic. I've always been a runner, and so that's
I
kind of
hate
where I'm at.
running, even though Knuckles also runs, but I hate
Man, I
running.
did cross country and track for fucking
I did
6
track
years.
in middle as well, but
What'd
I
you
hate
do?
running.
What'd you do for track? I'm just curious. Were you running?
Uh,
Was it shot
running,
put? Was it
running,
okay? So I track. So what
running,
I
running, and jump, 100
so
meter jump.
cross
Not 100
country,
meter, yeah.
we ran 3.14 miles for every race. That was the race. And then for track, the first 2 years they had me do the 800, which is 2 laps, and then the mile. But I fucking hated the mile,
Mm,
and I told them
yeah.
I don't want to do that shit anymore. So then they put me on the 400, which then I did really good on. So which was just 1 lap. So but yeah, fun stuff in there.
All right. Do you have something else? Because I haven't found the next one here.
I have a ton.
All right,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean I
go,
can just keep going for them.
go for it.
G Colby, do you think the term masterpiece gets overused for certain films, especially recently from some people? G Colby, if you're calling out me and Griffin, here's the thing with that. If I feel a film is perfect, I'm going to call it that. I don't give a fuck. That's just how it is. That's how I review stuff. I grade by excitement, and I grade by how if a film really has any issues to me. And I
Mhm.
know Griffin does the exact same thing. So I don't think it gets overused. I think it depends. It depends on the film. Like if I reviewed Morbius and I had liked it semi, but I'm like, oh, that's a masterpiece. Like that's where I feel like. But if there's like a feeling behind the film to where you can use that, then I don't think so. I personally, for me, I think it's however someone wants to feel. I mean that's just the way that they feel about a movie.
Mhm.
I say it every year. There's at least 3 movies that go into my favorite films of the year. The last two, not so much,
Of the
but
year, yeah,
typically, or
obviously.
not of the year, but of all
Of all
time.
time. Yeah, yeah.
And that's just how it
I'm
works for
messing with
me.
you. I'm
There's
messing with you.
always a couple films every year that just
Mhm.
hit me where I'm like, I fucking love this movie, and it's ends up becoming one of my favorites down the road. So I remember the year Spider-Verse came out. I think it was Spider-Verse, Big Sick, and there was one more that year that really
Big
hit
Sick
me.
was 2017. Spider-Verse was 2018.
Oh, was it? Okay. Anyways, then, but like, okay, I guess I'll use Arrival and La La Land. Both of those are in my
Mm.
top 10 of all time now.
But in
Both of them came out.
2018, you loved Game Night as well.
I did, and that's
Yeah.
in my not my top 10 of all time, but definitely in one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite comedies. So, I I I,
Um,
I don't think it really matters in my opinion. I think people just have fun talking about what they
I,
want to talk about.
I am personally very reserved about using that term. I've used masterpiece of the genre, masterpiece. I use more masterclass to specify. Like this is a masterclass of action. This is a masterclass just in directing. This is a masterclass in writing. I don't think it really matters. Like I know Zach uses the word more than I personally do, but I have no judgment or opinion about it. I do think in general, and I'm not even including Zach in this conversation, and Griffin uses it for the title. Griffin is very smart in how he uses the word, at least from what I see. Not that he's here to speak it for himself, though we'd be happy to have him on the show. Um, I'm personally very reserved. I think film Twitter uses that term very, very, very lightly. I think anything and everything is a masterpiece. So yeah, I do think in general we see the term being used to the point where it takes away what it means, but I don't think it really matters because I think it only matters what it means to you. What does that term mean to you? So yeah, Jico EP. When you compare the Sony Marvel movies with the MCU and even the DCU, you can tell the genre has evolved and they try to experiment. These movies feel like those early 2000s comic book movies, the bad ones. And look, I have seen a ton of people who not necessarily that enjoy the film. I've seen people that enjoy the film Morbius, that is, saying this. I've seen people who haven't enjoyed the Morbius saying that this feels like one of those B movies from the early 2000s or the 90s, and they enjoy that about the film. And look, that is fair. When they bring up the point where not every movie needs to try and accomplish the same thing, needs to do the same thing, needs to be the same thing, I agree with that. But when the defense for this film is good because it feels like the early 90s and 2000s comic book movies, fair. I didn't like those movies back then because they were extremely mediocre. And that's what these movies are. And now that we've elevated the genre, now that we can make comic book movies that are as good as any movie, these movies just look worse by comparison. So I don't think that that's necessarily a proper issue with the films, but it's also not a proper quality of those films. So I think this, you bring up a good point that they feel like those comic book movies of the early 2000s. Not that you're doing what I'm saying certain people are doing. But when people use that as a defense for Morbius, I don't think that's a defense at all. Like, I don't like those movies from the early 2000s. So Morbius does feel like one of those. And that's one of the big reasons why I don't like it. But it just doesn't work as a movie. It just doesn't work as a movie. Zach, what do you got?
Nate Ackenbauer asked, last one, what are some of your biggest pet peeves when it comes to going to the movies? I have
the commercials. 30 minutes of commercials, not just trailers, commercials and trailers and publicity to get the Cineworld Unlimited card. I have the Cineworld Unlimited card. That's why I'm watching an unlimited screening. It's only available to me.
See,
who already
and it's
has
funny.
The Cineworld, and
the
you
theater
guys have
I go
the Nicole
to,
Kidman thing. What else? Sometimes the room is too, the theater is too hot. Sometimes it's too cold, depending on the time of the year.
Anyway, let me show you mine. Let me show you mine. This is what I love.
All right, here you go.
Just someone standing there. Nope. It's just someone standing there in front of the screen, looking at their seat, and just right in front of me. The last 5 times I've gone to the fucking movie, someone has done this. Every fucking time. And I want to smack them in the face. They stand there. It's like, it's your fucking seat. Sit down. Like, just sit the fuck down. It's not hard. I don't know what you're doing. It's not hard to sit down in a seat. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve so far. Like, over even like a baby going to a movie. I fucking hate that. Like, when I took my girlfriend to see the Batman for the first time, these 2 guys stood right in front of us throughout the entire first scene. And I literally had to tell them, like, can you sit the fuck down? Like, those are clearly your seats. Just sit. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do. Trying to adjust your pants or something? Like, should have done that before you sat down. Or before you even got in there. Like, sit down. So.
We thankfully don't have that here. We thankfully don't have that here. But yeah, give another one.
All right. Let's see. We kind of talked about that one. Ren, Lady Aaron said, Ren, I noticed that you have your League of Cinephiles name. That's awesome, and congrats on winning the singles tournament, my friend. I knew you could win it, my friend. Isn't your big rematch against Hunter coming up this week? If so, good luck. I will be watching you in training.
Next weekend, the 10th. It's next week, the 10th, so Sunday. But yes, I need to. I always forget.
I was going to ask you, what time is that at?
It's going to be at 6 p.m. my time. So right now it's 4:30 my time.
Okay. I have a screening of Bad Guys next Saturday, just as a heads up.
Nice.
So I'm really excited, but that's typically the time we do it at. So we could do it. I just got to leave at 8:30. So
next week we'll do it. We'll do it on Saturday, just so we don't keep changing the time. But you'll do what you can, and then if you have to leave, you'll leave, and I'll have someone to be here partnered up with me. Maybe I'll invite a certain how should I say it? A certain geekly good man. I don't know if he's on the chat right now. Probably isn't. But if he is, if he's listening, I'll talk to him. Doesn't matter. Zach, what do we have next? Still looking for
G. Colby asked, no, we answered that. Okay, so we answered a lot of those. This one. G. Colby, should the Oscars just be put the awards on a streaming service so that way they won't worry about ratings and not trying to be the MTV? I've said this. Disney Plus. Yeah. I don't know why you don't stream it on there. Or, I mean, it would have been bad if they streamed it this year because...
True.
So I guess Hulu might be the better take here.
But Hulu, because the thing is, around the world, outside the United States, it'd still be Disney Plus. And Disney Plus itself, since they are separate services in the States, Disney Plus already has bigger numbers than Hulu. That's the weird part. Um, so I don't know. I don't know, but yes, they should be. They should be on streaming services.
For sure.
All right.
For sure.
GCOEP, what is your favorite episode of season 1 of Only Murders in the Building? That is a great question because that show is awesome. I never stopped recommending that show to Zach. And Zach, speaking of shows, I recommended you to watch, and you, well, one you really love, the other one you're really loving, but you have stopped. But now you're going to really love. You're finally starting Doctor Who. I want to
Soon, yes.
document this on the show. I want
Okay.
to.
I don't
as
know when
soon
I'm
as
gonna
you
start it. I don't know when I'm gonna
Okay.
start it.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
No
on that,
rush.
so.
But when you start, let us know in advance because I want to document it on the show. And every
Okay.
week when we come to the show, whether you watch one episode that week, 2 episodes, 5, 10 episodes that week, I want to document that on the show. And every time you watch an episode, I want this. I want you.
I'm
to
watching
take
the
us through your
2000
journey.
version, right? Not the 19.
Yeah, you don't
Okay.
need to go that far back.
Okay. Because they're on HBO Max. So you said start with David Tennant's, right?
Yes, start with David Tennant. First, it's Christopher Eccleston who played
Do you know what?
Malekith in Thor 2.
Do you know what season that is?
It's because Christopher Eccleston starts. They just restart the season, so Christopher Eccleston is season 2 in 2005.
Oh,
season
David-
1 in 2005,
Okay,
and then
so David
and
Tennant
then
was
David Tennant
2006.
comes in season 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
he
Okay.
starts in 2006. All right, but favorite episode of Only Murders in the Building, season 1. I think I'm gonna go with the premiere. I think the premiere, and you know what? I'm not going to the premiere. I'm going with episode 7, the boy from 6B, which they do entirely in sign language. That episode is masterfully crafted. I love that episode. But the premiere is also really strong. But that episode really stuck with me. I remember me and Bruna at the time we were watching, because we were watching together. Because Bruna barely knew about the show going in, and I'm like, hey, this show started as Martin Short, Stephen Martin, Selena Gomez. Sounds amazing. You're going to love it. And so we started from the beginning, and then we watched it every week. And that episode, we were like, holy shit, what is this? What is going on? And then it also, every ending of every episode was awesome. So I'm going with The Boy from 6B, episode 7. Zach, what about you?
That or the final episode for me. I love the finale.
All right.
So it took me a while to get into the show. Like, I was not really feeling it, to be honest. The first 2, like, I thought it was fun, but I didn't get the hype until like the back half. So that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I watched The Tinder Swindler. The Tinder Swindler is a really good movie. That's a documentary. I was interested and it paid off. But again, it's just very rare that I'll be like, I'm interested in watching this documentary. The subject matter has to really catch my eye and catch my interest. Outside of that, I probably won't watch. What do you got next, Zach?
So I have one more from Lady Aaron, and that is, what would you say is worse, Morbius or the 2022 Oscars?
Morbius.
Yep. That's all it is. So, no doubt about that.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool. Lady Aaron, have you guys been listening to any great new music recently? If so, what have you guys been listening to recently? I don't think I've been listening to anything new properly. This week, I dove into redove, because I already knew them from before, into Asking Alexandria again. So I've been listening to their new album. The latest album from Orion, which is a band I talked to you guys about a few weeks ago, is also really cool. Sleeping with Sirens, Orion, and that's it. Nothing else really new that at least not that I realize. Nothing else. I tried the new Shinedown album, also from last year at this point. Last year? Did they have one? No, they just have a new single, but their last album was from 2018. But yeah, those are the typical bands I listen to. How about you, Zach?
Nothing really. I haven't discovered anything new. That's just the truth.
Alrighty. What next? Do you have any more while I search, or was that
No,
it?
I was out. I got everything.
Okay. About Moon Knight. I heard some criticism about it starting to become a little convoluted as it goes on. Do you see where they're
Nope.
coming from without spoiling it? No, if anything, the last 15 minutes of episode 4 may feel a little bit convoluted because now you have to rethink everything else. But I don't feel the convoluted as it goes on. That's the thing that I don't agree with.
Yeah, and the thing
I think it just starts because right now you only get Steven's perspective. Episode 2 is going to be very different, and then from then on you just start opening up the gaps that you're missing because you're going to start following several perspectives.
Yep.
But I think they make it very clear, very simple what is going on, and very easy to follow, which is exactly what makes the direction so masterful in this show. So yeah, I personally didn't feel any confusion or convolutedness. Is that a word? It is now. What about you, Zach?
No. I think shows are hard to judge until you see the finale. Like you can say,
Yeah,
throughout it,
entire thing.
but it's really hard to judge an entire show until you see the entire product. Because you could see the final 2 episodes and be like, oh, this is the most convoluted mess. It doesn't make sense. And that's when we can talk about it. But if you're paying attention, and this is a show that you do need to pay attention to, it's, I would say, the most in-depth Marvel show yet with what it's throwing at you, with building on a mythology, with building on characters. And there were times where I did have to watch each episode again. And I probably still
I just watched each again out of pleasure, but yeah.
But I genuinely I don't know which episode it is. It might be 2, it might be 3. They're all mixing together at this point. There's like a trial. You know what I'm talking about? That's the 3rd one? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
There's a lot in that fucking scene.
Because I'll say this, because that one takes place in a location that he's not in yet in episode 2.
Okay. Yep. You're right. So there's a lot going on, but it's
I love that scene. By the way, that scene is really good.
And we didn't mention Ethan Hawke at all, or Maya. They're so good.
I mentioned them. Good. You watched my review. I mentioned but we didn't mention them today.
I meant here.
So. I know. But we shouldn't mention May yet because she's not in this show yet. Ethan Hawke, however, fantastic, very eerie, very creepy, very, very David Koreshian.
Yeah.
If you know who that is. If you don't, go watch Wacko, which is a limited series starring Taylor Kitsch, who kind of looks like Ethan Hawke. So yeah. Aside from the slap and a lot of Amy Schumer's jokes, what was the worst moments of the Oscars? For me, the In Memoriam was awful. The In Memoriam was awful. The worst one was the clip they used for Zack Snyder's Justice League winning fan favorite movie because they used Ezra Miller. And I saw the Oscars after some big news about him came out. So that's the worst one for me. Yeah. And a lot of Amy Schumer's jokes. What about you, Zach?
I thought the Memoriam was terrible too. That wasn't good. I also I wasn't a fan of Drive My Car, but I was not happy that they played the music to get the guy off stage. That was fucked up. He literally learned how to say his speech in English. Give the guy time, especially when you gave Will Smith and
he had a translator that wasn't needed because he knew how to speak.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, then you give Will Smith like 4 or 5 minutes. Then you give this other person 4. You could have given him the time of day for that. I'm just saying. And I mean, my thing is they cut the 8 awards so we could lower down on time. Your fucking show is 45 minutes longer. Just saying. So.
If there were any great Oscars moments that happened, what were they ever? I missed the live ceremony, but I kept track of who won and the events that happened thanks to Twitter. Really love Coda winning Best Picture and the sweet moments between Gaga and Liza. Just this year, Ariana DeBose's speech and Troy Kotzer's speech. Those were the biggest takeaways for me. And Jessica Chastain's speech was also beautiful. And is that it? I think that's it. And then Dune sweep on mostly and also loved Kenneth
It won the
Branagh's
most
speech,
award.
but it was rather fast. Yeah,
Dune won the most awards, so
rightfully so. All right, Dominici Scott, guys, fellas, do you go back to your old reviews in the early days of your channel? Sometimes. I'm going to be redoing a review very soon. I still haven't deleted a certain review for my channel, but tomorrow or Tuesday, when I can upload the new one, a certain review from 2016, the first year that my channel was in, is not going to be here anymore because I've evolved. My sound got better, my image got better. So I'm going to be watching a movie tonight and then redoing a review. Hopefully, I have time to do a review for the sequel. So the review for the sequel that already exists will also be going out. And then I told you guys that I'm going to be re-reviewing Doctor Strange, the original, and the Jurassic movies ahead of the other ones. So those reviews that right now exist on the channel, when I first reviewed Doctor Strange, when I originally reviewed the Jurassic Park movies ahead of Fallen Kingdom, I'm going to delete all of those eventually because I'm going to be putting up new ones. So if you want to judge how bad those are, how good those are, how much I've evolved, feel free, because soon enough they'll be gone. The certain review that will be going up tomorrow, I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but once you see what it is, you're then going to search for the original one in 2016, and it's not going to be here. So yeah. Zach, what about you? Do you go back?
sometimes just to laugh at myself.
Yeah. I don't like watching myself at all, so I barely go to the ones now. So the older ones are even more cringe.
I barely do the same. I usually watch my review, make sure everything's good, and then upload it. But
yeah, I watch it as I edit, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed though that I have to go back and watch the whole thing because I've been getting more tired when editing. So then I don't catch everything, and then I'll like leave something in. So.
Mm. All right. Do you think the Academy will make a big mistake if they expel Will Smith? Well, they've already expelled, resigned, but we know what that means. And that his career might suffer because of the slap. I don't condone what he did. I don't think he should suffer. I don't think he should suffer at least too much. But like, we already know there are a few movies on hold, but I hope it's one of those situations where like 6 months is like 6 months in Hollywood time is like 3 years in real life. So I hope like 6 months from now, everything has blown over. Everyone has calmed a bit down. Again, I'm going to repeat myself, but it's a slap. Let's all chill the fuck down a little bit. But yeah, I don't think he should suffer too much. Again, I think it's important to have a conversation. I think it's important to confront what happened, to acknowledge what happened, to acknowledge that he was wrong about what happened, which, yes, he's put a statement out. Have a conversation with the Academy. Have a conversation with Chris Rock and grow from that. Move on from that. That's the adult thing to do. It's not punishment. Like, he's not a kid. Like, converse. Talk with one another. There's a big Doctor Who speech about that, but it's only in the Peter Capaldi era, so in time, Zach will get to that. Sit down and talk. Lady Era, where are some movies that got released in the year that you guys were born in? Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Super Mario Brothers, A Bronx Tale, Falling Down, Jurassic Park, Malice, Indecent Proposal, Pelican Brief, Last Action Hero, True Romance, Cliffhanger, and one more. Let me give you one more. What's Eating Gilbert's Grape? And RoboCop 3 for some reason. And Demolition Man and The Fugitive. Those are both good ones. Zach.
It's so perfect. The year that I was born, that this movie came out. G.I. Jade.
Oh.
No, I've never seen the movie, so I don't know.
Okay.
The Game came out the year I was born. Donnie Brasco, Fifth Element, Good Will Hunting. Men in Black, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, and Liar Liar. I guess those are the ones I'll go with.
Alrighty. I know they're not going to do it, but after Morbius, should Sony give the rights back to Marvel? I know Craven is filming. They want Disney to own everything, but they don't know what they're doing. I don't think so. I just think they need to have management. They need to have direction, and they need to respect the internal logic of their films. If you want to build a cinematic universe, do it. Do it well. Or keep them apart. That's also fine. But should they give, even if I was, let's say they wanted to do that, they would never, and they should never give the rights back. Sell them. Sell the rights back. Put a price tag on it, and if Disney wants them, they probably would buy it.
Morbius, breaking news. What do you think it opened up with? What opening weekend do you think it got? It came out
40.
39.
By one, but fuck yes, didn't do too much.
God. It was only made for 75 though, so it'll probably end up making its money back.
I see Lady Erin saying, "Don't delete your old reviews." Well, I'm not going to delete everything. There's like independent movies from each year that I'm not going to redo them. But these franchise movies, I can't even put a video up where certain videos have the same title. It doesn't help the algorithm, the CEO, and it just makes it confusing for the viewer. So it's just a way for the audience to see how far you've come. Because other videos from back then will still exist, just maybe not the big franchise ones. And they'll all be in due time. And I'm not going to suddenly delete every MCU review just because I've evolved and eventually I'm going to redo them. I'll delete them in time. When the time comes for me to put up the new Jurassic Park review, I'll delete the Jurassic Park, the old one. But until then, the videos are right now up. I haven't deleted anything as of right now. So please go enjoy those old reviews, and I appreciate the kind words, Aaron. But it's just will be better for the channel overall, to not oversaturate in terms of video numbers and to not make it confusing for the audience. Zach, anything to add? Will you delete videos? Will you not?
No.
All right.
I got nothing to add. The only time I'll delete one is because if I do another review, like an updated one, if someone searches for it, the first one will come up first. So that's why it's good to delete them or unlist them or do whatever.
Maybe I shouldn't list them, but it's still the title. The title is the thing that would hurt it, because you can't have two videos with the same title. What are your childhood guilty pleasures? Movies or TVs you like but know aren't great or bad movies you like watching for nostalgia? For me, Scooby-Doo movies and Cat in the Hat. For TV shows, a lot of Disney Channel and Nickelodeon shows from the 2000s. I don't know, because every time I like, my guilty pleasures have been the same for a while. Like, I like the original Mortal Kombat when I was a kid, and now it is a guilty pleasure. But shows, I'm sure Zack and Cody doesn't hold up, I guess, so that counts. But I haven't gone back to it to consider it a guilty pleasure. I just liked it as a kid, and I'm assuming it doesn't hold up. Maybe it does. Maybe it's the funniest thing ever. It's the most genius piece of television ever put together. What else? I don't remember anything else particularly that jumps out. There was a Scooby-Doo movie, an animated one that I liked that had like, I don't remember if it had zombies or werewolves or something, but it was in an island, and that's it.
Monster Island.
Maybe,
Monster
probably. I'm going to take a word for it. I believe you. If Zach says it's Monster Island, it's Monster Island. But yeah, I don't remember like anything else in particular. How about you, Zach?
I don't know. If I'm being honest, a lot of the time, I don't know. I don't really go back to old shows that I know probably won't hold up. It'll ruin my childhood. There's been one that I've been putting off, the Lilo and Stitch show.
Yeah.
I don't want to know on that one.
Chico EP, Who should host the Oscars? I've always wanted Conan O'Brien or Key and Peele to host. We threw out Key and Peele.
I don't care. Honestly, I saw a lot of people saying Lady Gaga after, and I actually wouldn't mind that. I think she very respectful of the. I don't know why you give that face. She's very respectful of the whole entire community.
She's not a host. She's a performer, an incredible performer, but she's not a host.
I would argue that Amy Schumer and them weren't hosts, and they sucked.
I don't know. Right.
I think Lady Gaga's would be better than them. That's just me.
I mean, how low is that?
You just need someone to move each award. That's all you need to do. I think that's the thing. You need a good monologue, and that's it.
I certainly wouldn't name 3 different people with no chemistry whatsoever to host. That's for sure, like they did this year. But Key and Peele would be great. Conan would be amazing. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds would be great.
Or just
as a
Hugh Jackman. Or just Hugh
Jackman.
But
or just Ryan Reynolds.
A lot of people are doing like their early let's guess. And I totally forgot he has that new film from the guy who made The Father, coming out this year.
That's right. That's right. Super excited about that.
And a lot of people are posing him to be like.
I mean, obviously, we talked about this last time when we were trying to guess who the host would be. If he's getting nominated, obviously he doesn't host this year. But I'm just speculating in general who would be a great host, But yeah, that's the one. All right, let's finish it there. We'll be back next week. Do we know what the topic is next week? Do we have an idea? Or
probably video game related, video game movie related.
Well, because Sonic comes out. I was thinking that.
Is there anything else that comes out? It's just Sonic, right?
It's just Sonic, because next week over here we don't have anything here this week.
Are you sure you guys don't have Fantastic Beasts this week?
We have Fantastic Beasts. That's it.
We have Ambulance that comes out here. So, I mean, we could talk Michael Bay.
I think Harry Potter in general would be... I mean, there's tons of speculation that there may not be another Fantastic Beasts movie at this point. So we can discuss that. But I'm sure something would happen this week.
Because Fantastic Beasts comes out April 15th for us, so the week after.
Oh, and April 8th for us.
Yeah.
April 15th, then we have The Northman and Operation Mincemeat, and what we have something else. We have 3 big movies. The Northman I'm going to be watching early. Lost City also comes out. Well, Lost City comes out on the 13th. I've seen it, but we're getting it. That will be a topic next week. Don't worry. Next week we're back on Saturday. Zach will not be here for the entire show. But guys, remember, go to the Moon Knight episode 1 spoiler review. Leave your theories for episode 2, and you will be featured on that video with your comments, with your theories, whether you were right, you were wrong. And then keep doing that every week. Go support the reviews. I really want Disney to be happy with the coverage. It really helps. So even if you've seen it, if you can throw it on your Twitter feed or your Facebook page, or send it to your friends, it really, really helps. It's the lifeblood.
Lady Aaron asked a question. Ren and Zach, will future episodes have some questions answered from the community tab? I prefer the community tab, just because it's easier for us to kind of figure out the questions.
This week I didn't set it up because from 2 weeks ago to today I forgot. But starting next episode, as soon as the episode has the topic decided, as soon as it's ready, I'll post the live stream. But I'll also post the thumbnail on my community tab, and Zach will post on his as well. And that's where you throw your questions, both on his and my community tab. Both will be available. Both will be options, and that's it. But again, Moon Knight review, go for that and be a part of the videos. And it's a pretty packed week. I'm watching Fantastic Beasts on Monday. We got Moon Knight coverage every week, and a few other things. Be on the lookout. Tons of other fun videos coming. Zach, you got a fun week? You got a busy week as well?
Yes. I'm not jinxing myself. There's something coming up Friday that if it works out, I'm going to shit my pants.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the lookout to get a certain email tomorrow as well, but don't want to jinx myself either. So stay tuned for
reminder for everyone. Doctor Strange tickets Wednesday. They will go fast. They will go fast.
All right. Moon Knight review, that's your first order of business as soon as this is over. And until next week, everyone, love each other and love the movie.